Good evening everyone and welcome to the Amenities Committee of Bexhill-on-Sea Town Council. Tonight, the 7th of May, I will move quickly on to item 1 of this agenda, which is public participation. We have a member of the public here tonight. Please could you show by raising your hand. Thank you. If you could progress to the microphone, introduce yourself, and you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Yep, Brian Drayson. Just a couple of queries about what's on the agenda tonight. Something on the speed surveys. I suspect the police have an input on speed surveys, but could we please make sure that the council takes notice of any members of the public who supply information about speeds? I think the public have got to be able to input. And I noticed highway matters. In my role as a member of Rother District Council, I went to a meeting with the MP and various people from National Highways 2 weeks ago on the Marsh Road, the A259. I know only a little bit of it is in Bexhill, but would you like to see the report I did from that meeting and what came out of that meeting? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, move on to item 2, which is apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies for tonight?
Councillor Blagrove is ill, Councillor Goss is on holiday and Councillor Ruston is working.
Okay, thank you very much. Item 3, to receive declarations of pecuniary and non-pecuniary interests. Councillor Byrne.
Member of Rother District Council.
Thank you. Any others? No. I shall move on to item 4, Chair's announcement. I have nothing to say. Item 5, the minutes. All been sent, so it's need a proposer and a seconder to approve the minutes of the meeting on the 5th of March. Are you proposing?
Yeah, proposed.
Seconded, thank you. I should say all those in favour, please show your hand. Carried unanimously. That's the minutes signed off from the 5th of March. Item 6, with regret, the representative from the Delaware is unwell, so not able to attend to address the meeting, so we'll schedule that in the future.
Do we know what the nature of the representation was going to be?
I didn't until this afternoon. It's to explain the master plan for the Delaware Pavilion and all the works that are going to be done, which was open to the public to go and have a look at that just over a month ago, and it may well still be there, but Stuart Drew wanted to come and talk to the committee to explain it all face to face, which I thought was very good. I have actually seen it, and it's quite impressive, and it's a major commitment to the Delaware, which is needed. So if they make that master plan happen, it will make it sustainable for the long term, which is what their plan is. So we'll see what happens with that in the future.
Thank you.
So item 7, it's mainly noting to note full council decision to ring fence 100,000 for general reserves for the reopening of the toilets. That's under the licences that have been agreed. 7B. Sorry, Councillor Byrne.
Thanks, Chair. I think it's just worthy of note, as we're on public and on camera, to underline the fact that this is ring-fenced from general reserve. It's ring-fenced, not money we're actually necessarily going to spend. It's
Correct.
A drawdown fund that we will use if necessary. I think it's important for the public to understand that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. 7B, to know planting works on Marina Gardens have taken place, and there will be a sign showing collaborative efforts with Bexhill-on-Sea Town Council and Rother District Council to be installed there as well, which I think will send out a really positive message. 7C, to consider contacting Network Rail about refurbishing the exterior of Devonshire Square public conveniences. I think that's a motion from yourself, Councillor Pym, it says.
Yes, it is, yeah. At the moment, we've got nothing from this council to go forward with regard to the exterior, and if we're spending some money on the interior, I think we should perhaps require permission from Network Rail to actually look at the outside of that building as well, because at the moment it doesn't look very nice. We are fortunate in the fact that it's stayed pretty robust, but it is just plain brick, and I think it needs sprucing up and tidying up. We've got plenty of opportunities to capture sort of the skills of people within the town, various organisations that have got the skill set to sort of make that area look a little bit more exciting and vibrant, and what better time to do it than whilst we're looking at the interior. Yes, that's what I would like this council to do, and put a motion forward to that effect, to ask the clerk to seek out quotes for the refurbishment of the exterior of Bexhill Square Public Convenience.
I think we may well be jumping ahead a little bit, because I think we've got to seek permission from them first, because I believe, it's my understanding that when they offered us the lease, which is still sort of being progressed, they were very clear that they didn't want the outside changed at all. Yeah, and that may be a bit of an issue, but I do agree, externally it's scruffy. The pointing is needs some attention, so we can certainly get in contact with them to see whether there's any options. There are some other things in that area that are up for potential as well, with the opening of the gateway from the platform straight into Devonshire Road, and I think it might be a matter of timing as well, but obviously we've got to make contact to start with. So
just ask Democratic Services if they've got any...
so we can look into it. It's like you said, we need to repoint the bricks before we can look into that. So if that was something that you were interested, I'm looking for a motion and a resolution to investigate repointing the bricks so that we can then refurbish.
Okay then. I'll put forward a motion. Can the clerk seek out to repoint and investigate the external brickwork with a initial collaboration with Network Rail?
okay.
With the potential of refurbishment.
We'll come to that later.
After.
I think it's about building the relationship with Network Rail, and this will be another opportunity to say, look, we are taking the lease on it, but we want to make it better. So if we were to do that, I think you're right, Councillor Pym, if we do that and then see what can be happen afterwards. Anyone else wish to say anything? Otherwise I'll look for a seconder. Seconder, Councillor L. All those in favour? That's carried. Got enough for that? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Item 8, community safety matters. 8A is standard, which is that we will do some work on understanding and looking for potential new CCTV sometime after April. Now's the wrong time to do it, because we have a lot of other works that are probably more important than that at the moment, so that will stay on there until the next meeting, by which time we'll be slightly better positioned. 8B is just to note the purchase of the Unipart SL 700 laser speed meter, and confirmation that training's not yet been received. So that's just for notation. And to note the exact locations of speed surveys are being investigated. So I'll move on to item 9, which is the Town Accessibility Working Group, to receive notes from the last meeting. I think the last meeting was held, which I haven't seen any notes for. Where are we going with the Town Accessibility Working Group? Who would like to say something? Or Councillor Byrne, as you are the only member of it.
Yes. Obviously, we don't have, as far as I know, a proper schedule, agreed schedule of meetings or objectives, but then I'm very new on that committee. I do have reasonably regular contact with a very active wheelchair user in the town. I want to get him involved. So my my action this evening should be to contact both councillors Crotty and Winter
Okay.
with a view to getting this up and running on a regular basis with proper objectives.
There is a terms of reference already written for it.
Yes, that's why I said with proper objectives
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
terms of reference, so things that we can actually achieve within those terms of reference.
So you'll bring something back to the next meeting.
I will indeed.
Okay. Everyone happy with that? I shall move on. Bexhill Wild Doomsday Project to receive an update. We haven't got that as yet, but we nearly have, I think.
Yeah, we've literally just received the report.
So
next
just not
meeting.
in time for this meeting, but it will just carry on. I think we've got a pretty good understanding of the Doomsday Project and what David Dennis is doing with his nature club and everything else. So we'll move on to item 11. To note, we're awaiting Wave Art's further bus shelter designs for approval. I think we may have
I have some.
which have arrived extremely recently.
So these are for the bus shelters on Enwell Road. This is the one opposite Blueberries, the cafe. The text here is literally a sample text. So if you wanted to change it, you could put anything you wanted on there. So I could let you if you wanted to pass it out.
Okay.
And then this is the one outside the station on Enwell Road. And I've got a bigger picture of it if you need it.
Sorry, where's that one going?
So that's Enwell Road right next to the station.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the picture enlarged.
Okay. So that's the picture that they're suggesting, and that's what it would look like on the.
Are these completely new shelters, or are they redesigning the existing shelters?
One of them is brand new,
One of
isn't it?
them is brand new.
That
Yeah,
was
This
it's
one.
just been redone.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And the other one is an existing shelter that was already there. I have to say, I wasn't convinced about doing this with bus shelters, but the one in Sibley, since that was decorated, there's been absolutely no vandalism to it at all. And there was always graffiti being put on it, the lot. So there must be something in this that it is better protected if we do something with them. How do we go about choosing the wording? Do we have to vote on it, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you wanted to go away and have a think about it, you can defer that one and maybe approve the other one if you're
yeah.
interested, or unless someone has any ideas today.
I think I might need a bit of time to think about it because I don't know about other people, because it's quite important the words are right, because what some people might feel is appropriate, other people might not. And it's a little bit like the flowers in the city one. Some people like them, some people didn't, but words are more impactful as such. Councillor Earl.
I have an idea. It's not. I'm not very good at putting things like this together, to be honest. But I would like us to think about maybe a slogan for Bexhill. Obviously, we've got like Brighton, Sussex by the sea, and what have you. Maybe something for Bexhill that we could use in more than one place, not necessarily just bus shelters. Something that's ours.
Okay, how do we go about doing that? Because if we go down a branding route, that can be very expensive to do. Or do we just come up with something ourselves?
Would we be able to circulate that idea to the other councillors on an email, all 18 and just, well, 17 at the moment, and see if anyone's got any ideas they can put into the hat?
I think that could be worth thinking about, because just because 4 of 17 here think of something,
No, it won't be fair.
no. Councillor Pym.
Yeah, it comes to mind, just a quick slogan is Brighter Bexhill.
Yeah.
Bringing you a brighter Bexhill. Something like that.
Councillor Byrne.
But you could do business is better in Bexhill. But my suggestion was to contact 1066 Marketing. We're part of Rother pays into the 1066 Country Marketing Organisation. They've got branding and marketing, and they may already have some ideas about Bexhill. I know Bexhill is going to appear on some of their tourist maps, and it's going to appear on the wine trail that they're going to do. So to link in, let's not reinvent the wheel if someone's already on it.
I think the other thing to think about is it for us to put a brand behind Bexhill, because we are a town council, but we don't own the town. The town belongs to the residents, and should we engage more with the residents to say, what would you like the branding to be?
Now that would be an excellent, if we have got maybe 6 or 7 suggested slogans from various places like the Chamber and like 1066 or whatever, to have a consultation to choose one out of whatever. I mean, if we just have an open consultation, we'll be here next year looking through all the entries, but a short list of entries with some sort of backing from, as I say, like from the Chamber and from 1066 Country and maybe Churches Together in Rother and those sort of people.
I think that's a good idea, and I think we should open it up to the other councillors as well to see whether they've got any other ideas, and then gather and then bring that to the next meeting in 2 months' time. Councillor
The
Allen.
more I'm thinking about it now, the more I actually really like the idea of a slogan for Bexhill, because it could be something to use, we can use in the future.
Yeah.
Would it also be a possibility to help the public engage with us a little bit? I know it would be difficult to scroll through it, and we're going to get a lot more said, not just slogans, but a lot more said. Would we be able to maybe use our social media presence to ask the question to the residents as well? You never know what ideas will pop up, and it would be a nice way to engage with the residents and the public as well through our Facebook account.
It would, all of that, but it also crosses over into the Engagement and Communications Committee.
Or just put it out to the rest of the councillors then.
So Councillor Plym.
We asked Wave Arts to come back for some designs for approval.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we ask them to come back for some slogans for approval to work on what they...
We could include them as one of the organisations that we contact.
Well, if we start including everybody, we'd be here for a year.
No, it's maybe 10 or 12 organisations, and then whatever we adopt has got a backing within the town.
This will go on for another year, so we've got someone doing it already. We might as well ask them to just...
But they're not slogan and branding experts, they're art experts.
So that's on our crest.
But I'd like the idea of several organisations to get the buy-in from those organisations, especially from the Chamber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just had a very valid point made on our crest. It has Sol et Salubritas,
Yes.
which is Sun and Health.
Okay.
So we could use
Use that.
something like that because we're already using that. I think we might have to think about that, but maybe the answer is, as was suggested earlier, to approve one of them and then do some more work into some other suggestions. Is that an option? That's right.
Absolutely, yeah, we can approve something now. I mean, we don't have to wait for this slogan to come back to
No.
approve something for the bus shelters.
Yeah.
But I think this is one for the future.
Yeah.
I mean, we very unluckily got God's waiting room
Yeah.
with it branded onto us for so many years. It would
Yeah.
be nice to turn that into something positive for once.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
But I do like that idea as well.
Yes, like Councillor Earl said, we go ahead with the first bus stop there. It's already designed. Yeah, we'll have that. No
Yeah.
problems. And I do think there's some mileage in actually going back to Wave Arts and saying that the slogan on their coat of arms is, I can't say it, that's in Sun and Health.
Yes.
What can you do with that?
Okay. So
Let's see what comes back.
maybe to involve all the councillors, if we just go to Wave Arts and ask all town councillors of what they would like on there and bring it back to the next meeting and approve the first one. How about that?
And go to the other organisations as well, or not? Not to approve this, but
It does concern me that we'll open up a can of worms in so much as then, you know, you've written to somebody and they haven't replied, you have to wait for them to reply and you miss the next meeting and
Give them a
then
deadline.
there won't be one in August, it'll be
I think we should
October.
ask, as Hurst says, have a deadline on it. Please reply by.
it's quite a positive thing. It's a nice thing to do. It's
Yeah.
nice to be able to
I
include
just like the idea of a buy-in from the
To
major
include-
organisations of the town.
Bexhill organisations.
It will protect us against this, you know, they're being high-handed.
Yeah, I get that, but I think if we're not careful it will get out of control. So maybe if we gave the clerk sort of delegated authority, if that's the right phrase, to pick, say, 4 organisations
Yes,
plus
yeah,
Wave Arts
That's the right
and
sort
leave
of...
it at 5
sort of-
plus town councillors and put a timer on it.
Cool with that.
Councillor Bill.
Don't forget this is just one bus stop at the moment.
Yes, it is.
So we'll try it out on this one,
Yes.
see what it's like
Correct.
before we then go, actually we could roll this out on the others.
Yeah, we could do. So that's what I would propose as a motion, that we accept the one that doesn't have words on, and ask that the clerk contacts 5 organisations of her choice that's involved in this type of thing, and to ask the other town councillors. And the cut-off date will be in advance of the next Amenities Committee meeting, so we can make a decision. If no one replies, then we'll make a decision.
Because obviously we're trying to find words for this one, but
Yeah.
my idea sort of extends to the point of maybe using it as something solid for the future that we can
Yeah.
use again and again, not just at bus shelters, but elsewhere.
I think that's probably would be engagement and communication committee, which,
Push it over to them
Yeah.
as well if
so
necessary.
if you want to, if you're not on that, lobby somebody on there, or talk to the current chair of that committee.
I might know somebody.
We have to be careful because it does cross over, and otherwise.
So that's fine.
Okay, so I'm proposing that motion, if we're clear about that, that the clerk contacts 5 organisations, give them a time limit so it's back by the next one.
Before you do that,
Yeah.
do you have any criteria? It's a pretty broad.
It is. I think if it's explained that it's on a bus stop and it's explaining Bexhill.
Slogan 4 words max, or 5 words max?
I think we've got the criteria, and that's the Sun and Health. Whether they use the Latin version or the English version, if we agree now at this committee that's what we want, then run it to them and find out.
Connected with, and then leave it up to them to.
And was there anything for what sort of organisations you wanted?
I think 1066 should be part of it in case we don't want to run a parallel.
Councillor Burns probably right. They ought to be one of them. They may or may not reply. I think probably the Chamber of Commerce ought to be one of them. I think probably the Neighbourhood Board ought to be one of them, because they may well wish to take that forward as well, whatever comes out of it. Who knows? Who else is there in Bexhill that's... Maybe it's just those 3.
You've got Lions and Rotary. They're both quite
Probably to the clerk's
representative.
discretion.
Yeah, I think if those 3 are in there, and
Yeah.
because they're 3.
Maybe churches in Bexhill, just
Yeah.
to ward off any...
I think our clerk has enough contacts in Bexhill to find the right people.
Yeah.
So, okay with that? Nearly. Yes. Got to get a seconder first.
Yeah.
So seconder, thank you, Councillor Plym. All those in favour? Carried.
Cool.
Okay. To receive a report on the footfall for Coogan Beach bus shelter. This is the one that isn't there at the moment, and there's discussion that a resident's asked for it to be replaced. So how many, this has come from?
This is from the Senior Transport Officer
Okay.
at East Sussex.
Yeah.
So in 2023, we had 380 passengers picked up at that station, which was 1.25 a day on average. In 2024, we had 498, which was an average of 1.63 per day. And in 2025, this is up until the 11th of March,
Yeah.
we had 112 passengers, so an average of 1.9 a day.
So it is increasing slowly, but not of a great use. Okay. So we've received that report on the footfall, which was a request to go and get that information.
which will inform our decisions later.
There's not an agenda item as to whether we wish to make that decision about whether we're going to put a bus shelter there or not. And we do also have another request for a bus shelter in Bexhill. So it would be spending out money on 2 bus shelters. So we don't have to decide that tonight, do we? No. Okay. We've received that report on the footfall. So we'll park that, and that will come on a future agenda. 11C, to note full council decision to lobby an extended bus service. So that's just for noting to prepare for the future expanded use of the area up towards Gallagher. Okay. Item 12, to note there isn't an update, that's on the lamppost in Delaware Parade. I think that's left with our local East Sussex County Councillor to progress that. So item 13 is highways matter, to receive an update following the SLR meeting on the 1st of May. I'm looking to Councillor Pym on this because Councillor Goss isn't here.
Unfortunately, Councillor Gross couldn't attend the meeting, but I was there.
Yeah.
We had 2 county councillors in attendance as well, along with representatives from the Highways Agency and Balfour Beatty as well, the agency that the Highways, sorry, not Highways Agency, East Sussex Highways Department.
Okay.
And a very, very positive meeting. We had a number of requests from members of the public, which ranged from sort of looking at zebra crossings, increasing them, looking at lighting in the streets, looking at ramps for accessibility on pavements and across the roads. And it was quite a fluid discussion that took place. Suffice to say that we realised that up until now there'd been a block jam of dialogue between local authorities and the highways, East Sussex Highways, and hopefully we've broken through that with this sort of engaging dialogue that took place. We have a number of points going forward. I haven't brought them forward with me this evening in the report. I was waiting for a report to come out from there. And but we have got another meeting which we asked for the first week of August.
Okay.
And we're hoping that will go forward, and we could just continue with this, because as we move forward and the devolution process goes on, I think it's very important that we keep dialogue open and strengthen that sort of a local relationship, which is what the meeting's all about.
Yeah, completely agree. It's all about collaborating with everybody and getting on with everyone and building relationships for the future. So is that the sort of plan, Councillor Pym? It'd be like 4 times a year, every 3 months you have a get together?
We're very given the impression that it wouldn't be as regular as we'd like it to be.
Okay.
However, we were very strong in our voice that we would want it to be more regular than it had previously been.
Yeah.
And so we're hoping some sort of compromise come through. But we did point out that August will be our next meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Do you need anything from this committee, or are you?
No, there's nothing at the moment.
You've got everything that you need to. Okay. Obviously, you know the process. If you need any other help, you. Okay. Any questions for Councillor Pym? Otherwise, I shall move on to Town Rangers. That's to note recruitment is underway and equipment is being purchased. It's been agreed. So, item 15. There are no motions from councillors. Item 16. There is no correspondence or matters for information. So I move on to 17, which is questions from councillors, and the answers are alongside those questions. And 17B is to receive questions and future agenda items. Does any councillor have any questions or future agenda items? Okay. Date of the next meeting. Can't tell you what that is. That will be agreed sometime after the statutory meeting, the annual statutory meeting on the 21st of May. And that's when we'll have a structure with meeting dates, etc., etc. So at that point, I'm now going to close this meeting. Thank you for attending.
Thank you very much. Thank you.